I want to tell you a little story. It's a story about two women from two different countries who barely knew each other, setting out on a month-long journey together. A journey in a country where female travelers are still an anomaly, not a norm. Pakistan. Their mission? To make it easier for other women to do the same. But first, some introductions. Hi, I'm Alex, the American female traveler behind Lost with Purpose. I've been independently traveling to Pakistan since 2016, and I've spent nearly 1 year in the country in total. And this is Anika. She's a female traveler from Pakistan, and she's kind of a boss. Not only has she traveled all around Pakistan, both solo and with others, she also runs her own travel company, the Mad Hatters. It might sound simple, but Pakistan's travel industry is a world of men, and she's one of the first women in Pakistan to run a travel company on her own. Pretty cool, right? Though we ran into each other once before, unknowingly, we actually got talking in fall 2018. We both understood the difficulties of traveling in Pakistan as women, contrary to what other travel vloggers might have led you to believe. And we realized we were perfectly positioned to work together on something that there was clearly a need for: a tour for women, by women. See, in patriarchal Pakistan, it can be hard for travelers to meet women, but not if you're traveling with only women. We also wanted to create a responsible tour. Pakistan's tourism scene is developing faster than anyone can keep track of, but few people actually think about sustainability. We wanted our tour to be proof that responsible tourism is possible in Pakistan. Think local homestays, local food, properly paid local guides, the works. From a woman's perspective, that is. But to plan something new like this, we needed to do our own research. So, in April of 2019, we bought 2 Natco bus tickets in Rawalpindi, hauled our backpacks onto the roof of a bus going north, and began the recce trip of a lifetime. We traveled up Pakistan's famous Karakoram Highway, an utterly epic mountain road connecting Pakistan to China. It was a long ride.
How do you feel right now? We just spent 22 hours.
No, not 22, 25 hours. We left at 12 yesterday, 12 in the noon, and it's 2:30 right now.
That's like what, 20?
I can't even calculate.
That's like 24 plus more.
And now we're getting out, let's go.
But after more than 20 hours in the bus, some help from locals, and one final minibus ride, we made it to our first stop, Gulmit, Gilgit-Baltistan. Gulmit is a village in a region known as Upper Hunza, or Gojal. Hunza as a whole is one of the most beautiful mountain regions in all of Pakistan, but also one of the most touristed. This was one of our biggest challenges on our recce trip. How could we find a balance between Pakistan's popular spots and the lesser-known destinations that we loved? Well, one of our solutions was to ask locals about less visited sites in the area. Passu Bridge is one of them. If you go up north, everyone will tell you to visit Hussaini Bridge, a wooden suspension bridge spanning the Hunza River. It used to be perilous, but it's since been rebuilt, and it's in much better shape these days. What most tourists don't know about is the still perilous Passu suspension bridge, several kilometers down the river. A few trekking paths connect the two, and so, armed with vague directions,
coney things over here.
Anika and I set out to do the bridge trek all on our own. But we encountered some slight difficulties.
So we crossed over the Passu suspension bridge, and now we're trying to find the Passu suspension bridge. Except, we don't know where it is. We see a small black thing in the distance that may or may not have a path leading to it. It might be the bridge. So we're heading towards it now. Crisis right now, because the sun is setting. And we're freaking hungry right now. Time to find the stupid bridge, or at least some way out of this big empty field of nothing. We think we found the bridge, but we don't know if we're on the right side of this gigantic bridge or not. We just spent like an hour or two trying to go around another bridge to get on the right side, but let's see. There's a path. And if this is not the path, this is going to suck walking back up this one. Oh my god.
I can't even sleep here tonight. It's not the path.
We can eat these herbs and drink the water. Maybe I have gum in my bag.
After wandering around for hours, but eventually finding the
It's an
bridge,
actual bridge over there. Ah! I'm pretty sure it's this bridge actually. Oh my God. Salvation is here.
we actually ended up getting lost in the river canyon too.
I mean, it's like over there somewhere, no? It's like go out and around, and then I remember seeing a path going up. I don't see anything going up this way either.
We had to follow trails of goat poop up to the nearest cluster of houses.
We have found something. We're definitely still starving. Definitely still lost, but at least we are somewhere.
Though the people were surprised to see two girls walking around in the dark,
We're coming into your yard. Sorry.
they helped us find our way back to the Karakoram Highway, and we hitched a ride back to Gulmit with a group of students. Don't worry, we learned our lesson. When we did the bridge trek on our first women's tour, we hired a local woman to come with us. We weren't making that mistake again.
We're on the roadside right now. We're trying to hitch a ride to Passu, which is like, a little bit that way.
Passu village, one of the oldest in Hunza, was our next stop. In addition to offbeat sites, we were also on the hunt for local homestays we could use. Places where our guests could get a better feel for local home life. We stayed with a super sweet family in Passu, but there we learned something interesting. It turns out Passu used to have more homestays and guest houses in the village, but as more tourists came, locals got upset about a lack of privacy. These days, all of the guest houses in the village are on the edge of town by the road, not in the center. Respecting locals is an extremely important part of responsible tourism, so we couldn't challenge that. As kind as our host family was, and as gorgeous as Passu is, we ultimately decided it would be irresponsible to do a homestay in Passu. We just went there on a day trip instead. Next up was a truly remote valley, Chapursan.
Welcome to Chapursan. Last village is at about 3,300 meters above sea level, so it's pretty high up here. But it's also gorgeous. It's like being on the roof of the world up here. Look at this.
The Pamiri Valley runs along the Pakistan-China border, and its Wakhi-speaking people span across borders in Pakistan, Afghanistan, and Tajikistan. Sounds cool, right? Problem is, from Sost, the last town along Pakistan's Karakoram Highway, it takes another 3 hours to get to the last village in the valley. 3 hours on an unpaved road in a Jeep, that is. We did have a grand time in Chapursan. We tried to hitch and hike our way to a Sufi shrine deep in the valley. No success.
Anika and I actually tried to go to Baba Gundi Shrine today. We totally failed, for the record. Locals told us that it was a 4-hour walk, approximately. And we walked for about 3 hours and met some people along the way, and they said that we were only halfway there. There was still a long ways to go. Everyone's just been giving us time estimates that are different from each other. Oh, it's only like a little bit further. Oh, but it's very far. Oh, but it's this. Oh, but it's that. Kind of typical for the mountains. So everybody here is way fitter than the average noob tourist. Most of the people just go on motorbikes to herd their yaks up into the mountains, so they might have a kind of distorted perception of how long it takes to get places. So we ended up having to turn around. So be it. It's still a really beautiful walk, and I'm having fun, except I think my feet are going to fall off.
We roamed among glacial streams and lakes despite the freezing cold. And after our Jeep driver left for town without us, we got to watch a local polo match. But in the end, we had to scratch Chapursan off of our itinerary too. The drive was just too rough and too far when combined with all the other driving we'd have to do on tour. After that, Anika and I had to part ways for a bit. She was working with UNESCO to train tour guides in another part of Pakistan. So while she was gone, I went on a little trip of my own and got my hands on a motorbike. Karakoram Bikers rents motorbikes to tourists in northern Pakistan. The owner of the company, whom I'd known for several years, sponsored my bike rental. Basically, I could take the bike for as long as I wanted, and I realized it would be perfect for finding places on our recce trip.
So I'm on my way to Thunder, which is in Gizzard district, which basically runs along the road that goes between Gilgit and Chitral.
After a week apart, I biked a grueling, but scenic, 8-hour route from Hunza all the way to Thunder, a village in the west of Gilgit-Baltistan. There, I met up with Anika again. We picked up our recce trip where we left off, but this time on a bike. Want to know what happens next? Hit that subscribe button and you'll find out soon enough.